Of NASCAR DFS preview. I'm Austin with the Sports Chief, and we're out here at the beach again. Hope you can understand me pretty clearly. It was pretty tough getting the audio to work right as well, and hopefully it's light enough. It's a little later in the evening, so it's not getting the greatest of light. But we're heading out to Martinsville Speedway for the Blue-Emu Maximum Pain Relief, I believe, 500. I think it's going to be the first night race at Martinsville Speedway, so it's kind of a bummer that no fans will be there to experience that, but nonetheless, we have some racing going on in Martinsville, Virginia. And as some of you may know, just for those who do not, Martinsville Speedway is a half-mile oval. Very short, very flat. The corners have concrete in them, so it's a little different than the outside or the straightaway surface, which is asphalt. So once you hit that concrete, your tires kind of adjust to the different surface that it's running against. So that's very important. A lot of braking here. So brake zones are really important. Good breakers, I guess you could say, are going to be very important for this race. A lot of your local short track guys or drivers that grew up running small tracks like this are going to be hard to beat. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking at. With no practice and everything like that, I'm trying to not get too used to this new setup. Hopefully when the fans come back and things, we'll be able to practice a little more. So that way we can get a little bit more data rather than history and things of that nature. So maybe even Xfinity stats to trucks. That's what we look at here. So let's just go ahead and see what DraftKings has to offer for us. So let me scroll up to the top. As you can tell, Jimmie Johnson is the most expensive driver at 12.5. He's starting in 21st position. Denny Hamlin starting at 12th at 11.9. Chase Elliott starting in 11th at 11.5. Kevin Harvick, the Atlanta Motor Speedway winner, who we had in our lineup, starting at 11.2. Kyle Busch starting in 7th at 10.7. And Martin Truex Jr. starting in 5th at 10.3. So we've kind of went back to our 6 guys that are 10K and over. And as you can tell, the field was not inverted as Harvick starting 10th. It was actually off of a random draw. So Harvick drew 10th. The guy who got the pole was Ryan Blaney, so he was the lucky winner. Ryan Blaney's actually really good here too. So he was one of my strong picks anyway. I think all the Penske guys are really great here. So with 500 laps being ran, again, this is one of those tracks. Short tracks are just totally different than the mile and a half. We did win on our mile and a half lineup. We had Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch who got first and second. So that was pretty good. But looking at this, it's really important with these short tracks to pick guys who lead a lot of laps. Again, that's just super important. You get a quarter of a point per lap led. You get a half a point for the fastest lap. You get a point per pass. So it is very important for passes here at the short tracks. I wouldn't say it's as important as the laps led, though. So one guy that I'm really looking at is Ryan Blaney. So I'm probably going to go with Ryan Blaney at 8.4. I think he could contend for the win, but I believe it's very sane to think that he'll lead 100 laps. I think he'll stay up there for a good while. And he's pretty good here. He has a few top 10s here at this track. He's just a contender pretty much every time he unloads here. So I got Ryan Blaney there at 1. And one guy that I'm just going to go ahead and automatically slot in is Christopher Bale. So Christopher Bale starting in 32nd. I had Bale last week because he had a pretty attractive starting position at Atlanta. Well, I guess it was just a few days ago. But I like Christopher Bale here in the Joe Gibbs Racing engines. I think he could at least get a top 20, and that would be my guy to get a lot of passes. You have a few options towards the bottom, but he is my best option for sure. And the thing is, with Jimmie Johnson, looking up here, this is one strategy you can use for a tournament. You can pick Jimmie Johnson at 12.5, and at 21st starting position, that's not too bad. He's won, I believe, 9 times here. So it's not a bad choice. It's just the simple fact that you want your highest price guy to lead either the most laps or win the race. And I think Jimmie could. Jimmie has been performing pretty well. I just don't know about that. That's pretty rough, and especially with Denny Hamlin there in 12th. Denny is one of the best drivers here at Martinsville. it's just tough going that route. So I'm probably not going to go there. I have 8,300 to spend, spending 84 to 82, and I'm going to scroll down here. So let's see what we have in the bottom guys here. You see David Starr is actually getting a start this week, starting in 33rd. Yaley's 26. That's still pretty good. Better than Bale. Brennan Poole 31st. Michael McDowell, we had him last week, and he did exactly what I wanted him to do. So that was a good choice. John Hunter Nemechek's in 18th. Chris Buescher 24th. Reese. So really, I'm just going to take McDowell out because Timmy Hill and Reed Sorensen are not options. So these are my guys. AustYn Dillon, his wife, is actually on. She could go into labor. So AustYn Dillon is on call, so to speak. So he's got AJ Allmendinger, so that's why you see his name there. He is the fill-in driver. AJ's pretty good at Martinsville, so that's something to think of. And also, if you scroll up here, DraftKings does tell us if a driver begins the race and gets replaced, the stats earned by the original driver and his replacement will count for the original driver. So Allmendinger is going to get, or Dillon will get the points from Allmendinger. So you basically want the guy that's going to begin the race. So just keep an eye on that when you're picking AustYn Dillon. If Allmendinger starts, go with Allmendinger. If Dillon starts and he gets pulled, then Allmendinger may slide in. One choice I'm going with down here at the bottom is actually Chris Buescher. So Chris Buescher is starting in 24th position in the 17 car at Roush Fenway. He's actually finished 12th and 13th here, I believe, the last two starts respectively. You can double check me on that one. But he's actually decent at this track. And I think that he could get a top 20 pretty easily. And I think he's going to be a choice that won't be chalk at all. I think he'll be pretty sneaky. Because I think a lot of people are going to go like that Ty Dillon, Ryan Preece route. And I'm hoping I kind of slide in there and get him. I've already got Christopher Bale, so I think Buescher could get a top 15 easily. And at 9,200, that just allows us to slide up here. So Suarez is actually a decent option. He's in 37th. The Gaunt Brothers racing team, though, is not that great, so it's going to be interesting to see, once the leaders start lapping people, how that plays out. So I'm kind of iffy on that one. Also, another driver that I'm going with is William Byron. So he's in 15th position. Chad Knaus is his crew chief. Chad was the crew chief for all of Jimmie's wins at Martinsville, and Byron actually finished second here in the last start. So I think he's a great option. Hendrick always unloads really well here, and they perform great at Martinsville. So I'm going with William Byron, hoping that he can get a top 10, and that would be a great way to kickstart his season because he's been kind of struggling. So we have $10,100 on our average salary. So this is pretty wild. And I told you earlier in the show that I like Keselowski and I like Logano as well as Blaney. So I love the Penske guys. Keselowski has not had a finish outside of the top 15 since like 20. I'm trying to think this through here. 2012, I believe. It's been a long time. So I really like Keselowski starting in 6th position. And I think that he could possibly win the race. And that leaves me with 10-7. And I'm going with Rowdy Busch. Rowdy Busch is just like Keselowski. He doesn't have bad finishes in this track. And I may have flip-flopped him. I know one of the two hasn't had a top 50, outside the top 15 since 2012. But these guys have been, year after year, they're performing well at Martinsville. So I like them in the 6th and 7th spot. Hey, and I got Ryan Blaney too. And, William Byron could possibly win, but I really like Buescher. The thing is, when I'm going through this here, Buescher was just an option that stuck out to me. More of a gut choice. I know when he was in that 37, he was a pretty awesome choice, even if he started 24th. So that's where I like him at. So let me go ahead and clean this up here. So we have Kyle Busch, Kyle Busch at 10-7, Brad Keselowski at 9-5, Ryan Blaney at 8-4, Christopher Bell at 8-2, William Byron at 7-6, and Chris Buescher at 24th. There you have it, folks. Hope you have a good race day, I guess, for Wednesday. first night race ever at Martinsville, and we look forward to talking to you at our next event on Sunday. We've got a little bit of racing going on here, so that's good. We got midweek racing. So hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see here, like, comment, subscribe below, and click that bell notification to get updates whether or when our videos get uploaded. Follow us on Twitter at TheSportsChief, and check us out on Instagram as well. And then www.thesportschief.com is where we put all our blog posts. We got a little bit of everything on there. So also we got a fun series called Challenge the Chief. So it's where Garrett, our sports chief, manager, owner, whatever you want to call it, head writer, he is the one that does this, and he plays Sporkle quizzes, and it's pretty cool. So it's something fun we like to do with our followers. So check it out, and hope you have a good rest of your week.